Reggae is not just music. It's a vibration of resistance, a heartbeat of truth, and the voice of a soul refusing to be silent. Now that is a quote from yours truly, Scotty. And this quote addresses one of the main reasons I created Hippie Fari, the beautiful, life-changing message of reggae music. It was created for social change, and its message is as strong today as it was in the 60s when the first reggae records were released in Jamaica. So welcome to another episode of Hippie Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast, recorded live in the Ohm and Honey Reggae Radio and Media Studios in beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida. I am your host, Scotty the High-Strung Hippie, and Hippie Fari is a podcast where we discuss all things reggae. So if reggae music is your thing, you're in the right place. Now tonight we have a special guest in the studio, an independent reggae rock band founded in 2021 by a Virginia-born guitarist and vocalist. Now based in North Carolina, the band blends reggae and rock into their own style, and they're consistently sticking to that roots vibe. Now, the project began as a solo endeavor. He's been writing and producing music that reflected his diverse musical influences. Over time, the project evolved into a full band, performing extensively across the East Coast, including Virginia, Maryland, D.C., and the Carolinas. Now, their music is characterized by soulful vocals, rhythmic guitar, and a fusion of genres that appeal to a broad audience. Now, their releases include Right Here and Love Her Roots. And their album New Strings is currently available and features a collection of songs that highlight the band's versatility and musical growth. And with over 100 live shows, this band is straight up truly fit, and they're in it for the love of the music, 100%. And I got to give a massive shout out to Tom. He got called for a gig tonight, and he declined it so he could be on Hippie Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast. I think that's the first time anybody's done that, man. So a massive shout out. That's some legendary shit, man. We love you for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Righteous Roots. Tom, what's going on, man?
Hey, Scotty. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Absolutely, man.
I really respect what you're doing for the community, and I'm just so glad to be here. I wasn't gonna miss it. I didn't want to reschedule, so I'm glad we could. I'm very excited to be here. Is all I can say. So.
That's really cool, man. That takes dedication, and I love that, bro. Yeah, that definitely meant a lot. So, yeah, I 100% appreciate it. We're so glad to have you on the show, man. I live on the beach, so I love your vibe. The music that you put out is, well, people are going to hear it here in a minute, but it's an awesome blend, man, and I definitely love it. So, Tom, I'm going to go ahead and get into the questions here, man, and let's start at the roots. Where did your musical journey begin?
Well, first off, I want to thank you for that awesome introduction you gave.
Right on, man.
I will say it's very accurate, so thank you for that. And I'll say my family is very musically inclined. My brother, my dad, and my grandfather all sang in a gospel quartet together.
Oh, right on.
Growing up, and they would go around to different churches and sing, and so they were like a family quartet, and it was religious music, but it was but then again, you know, some would say that reggae is somewhat.
I was just gonna say that. Yes, sir.
I knew I wanted to do music. I never really thought that this would be the route that I took, but I fell in love with reggae at a young age. A friend took me on a cruise through Jamaica in high school. And that's right after that cruise, we went to Ocho Rios. We did a bunch of different excursions.
So you got to see it up close and personal.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
We even got some ganja while we were down
yes.
there. So
you had to immerse yourself in the experience, right?
Yeah. So and of course, I'm not gonna act like my love for cannabis didn't play a role. You know what I mean? I could say a lot of different things, but definitely that also brought me towards reggae. And I learned how to sing at 5 and started playing guitar at 11 years old.
Wow, man, right on. That's awesome. So you came from a family of musicians, gospel quartet. That's straight up. Like the last 5 guests I've had on have had like a religious upbringing. My dad was a Southern Baptist minister, so I was raised in the church too. I was around the religious music my whole life. So that's really cool, man. So Thank you for that answer. That was beautiful. So, what inspired the formation of Righteous Roots? And how did the name come about?
So, I was working a lot of odd jobs after high school. I never went to college. I got accepted into a few different schools, but I just never felt it was for me. So then I worked a bunch of different jobs: warehouse, FedEx, Applebee's, a bunch of different restaurants.
I was an Applebee's manager. That's funny.
Yeah, and I will also say that my grandfather was also a Southern Baptist music minister at the church I grew up playing basketball at, playing sports at, and
that's funny,
volunteering and stuff at. But I will say that so I was working as a smoke shop / vape shop assistant manager. I was pretty much there every day of the week, rain, shine, anything. So not my best friend, but my friend that I was closest to at the time, I actually had just met him a year before, and we were making music together. I started making beats in high school, producing songs, and it was more like SoundCloud rap type stuff.
Sure, 100%.
I've gotten away from that as I've gotten older, because I feel like a lot of that stuff can be harmful if you consume too much of it. But my friend that I was friends with, and we had a lot of close conversations around that point in time. I got pneumonia, and I had to take a whole month off from managing the smoke shop, and I got really sick. Like, I couldn't get out of bed. It was 2021, and my friend died. He overdosed. I don't want to give that away, but he was a really good friend of mine, a fellow music producer, and he was my age, and that really like messed me up. And I just quit my job like right after that happened. I was in the bed. I couldn't go to any of his services because I was way too sick to get out of bed,
right?
And two, I didn't want to get anyone else sick. And it was a really rough time, but I decided, like, he wanted to take me on tour to do the whole rapper producer type thing,
right?
And I told him, that's just not me anymore. I'm doing the reggae thing now.
Good for you.
I'm trying to start a reggae band. And those were some of the last conversations we had, was him trying to take me on tour, and he wanted to be my producer. So yeah, from that point on, I quit my job, and I just really hit it. If you ask other musicians, I probably seem like I came out of nowhere, but I've been singing and playing instruments pretty much my whole life, so, and I come from a very musically inclined family. Everyone in my family, except for my mother, she didn't get that gene, but everyone else, my dad's whole side of the family. So we're a very musical family. So
that's awesome, man. It's funny that you mentioned SoundCloud. I had a breakbeat, which is like a form of like a techno music label, and we were all about SoundCloud back in the day. That's funny, but yeah, it's kind of thing. It's funny, like you look at it now, and it's not relevant. You kind of see why, but that's kind of funny that you mentioned that it used to be the shit back in the day. So thank you for that answer, man, and sharing that information, man. That definitely means a lot to us here. So coming from Virginia and now being based in North Carolina, how has the local scene in North Carolina shaped your sound? Or was it different in Virginia and then you moved to North Carolina and it kind of, did the move shape, bring forth kind of like, a different sound?
I don't know, and I forgot to mention about the whole Righteous Roots name.
Right.
Basically, I just love roots music, all types, country, folk,
sure,
rock, reggae, and Righteous is just, I feel like that's the intention we should all have as human beings, to try and be as righteous as we can possibly be. No one is perfect. We all have made a lot of mistakes throughout our lives, and but I think the intention is what matters. But I'll say that as far as in North Carolina, I grew up going to Myrtle Beach and
boom,
the Redneck Riviera.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina, so I feel you.
Yeah, so I got some family that lives in Wilmington, and we would come every now and again. We visited UNCW when we were looking at schools, and I'll say that in Richmond, like I said, I kind of came out of nowhere, and it was right after COVID, so I feel like I was still honing in on my skills. Like, I wasn't very good. And I want to I want to be honest about that. Like I
You're
feel
your
like I
own
have
worst
come.
critic.
Yeah, I feel, and I'm very critical of myself, and I feel like I've come a long way. But people there watched me go from not playing any shows at all to hosting open mic to just being the busiest person in Central Virginia, really. And I'm not saying that to boast, but I was really like, this is what I'm going to do
You
with
got
my
drive.
life. Yeah, I had tunnel vision at that point in time.
Good.
Around 2022, 2023. We were playing upwards of 18 shows a month. And
That's awesome, dude.
yeah, so I was really, but then coming to North, I don't know if it's me, but I come from a small town north of Richmond where if you don't, like, you got to get out while you can. And I felt like if I didn't get out now, my brother had already been living in North Carolina in Wilmington. My twin brother, he does music too.
Nice.
He's more of a country artist, but he'd already been living down here. And I felt like, I was in my mid-20s, and I was like, if I don't get out of here now, like, I'm never going to get out of here. And,
Right.
and it's just one of those things. All my friends had moved away, and I feel like I've always wanted to live at the beach, growing up inland. I don't surf, I skimboarded, but I don't surf. And
Right.
I've always wanted to live at the beach. And I always feel like reggae and the coastline are just, they just go hand in hand. So there's a lot more opportunity down here for what I'm trying to do. Richmond is a cool scene. I really like Virginia Beach as well, but also I felt like
Virginia Beach is great reggae scene.
yeah, I just felt like I had to get out of the entire state. I just felt like it was going to be really good for me. I already had my brother living down here, and something in my bones just told me, you just gotta trust in this decision and just go for it. So I don't know if it was higher power, God, Jah, whatever you want to call it, but I just felt like he was pulling me down here to Southeast North Carolina.
Amen.
And it's been working out really well. So I'm just gonna keep my head down and try to stay focused and just keep doing what I'm doing. And I feel like it's all coming together, and it's all in his timing. So I feel like it's going well.
That's absolutely awesome, man. And you mentioned something a little bit earlier that I kind of want to bring. It was at the very beginning when you started talking. You said nobody's perfect, but it's all about intention with righteous roots. My wife says that all the time, man, and that's so true. So that's really cool that you said that, man. I just kind of wanted to touch on that because intention creates reality, straight up. You're talking about playing 18 shows, man. You had that intention, you created your reality, man, and that's a beautiful thing, bro. You went after it and you made it happen. Now, how would you personally describe your genre blend, like the island rock or like that beach style, reggae, to somebody who's never heard you before?
So I first heard Sublime and all that when I was in elementary school, and I had no idea, it was some white guys. I had no idea from California nonetheless. And,
Right.
So I kind of fell in love with it at that point when I was a young kid, and but I'll say my sound is kind of like I grew up on country, like late 90s country, early 2000s country.
I love that, bro. I really do.
And for a period, like I was calling my style island country. Like you got
Right.
your Kenny Chesney's, your Zach Brown bands, your Jimmy
Yeah.
Buffett's.
Yep.
But but it's not like them because I love roots reggae and I love Jamaican reggae. My favorite type of reggae is Hawaiian reggae.
Oh, I love Hawaiian reggae music, man.
So I just would say that it's like my production has a bit of a dub element to it because I'm doing everything through the software myself.
Sure.
I don't have a drum kit. I'm using like a MIDI controller, keyboard, and just doing everything myself. So it has like a electronic sound, my production does. But as far as live shows, we'll take country songs, we'll take rap songs, we'll take songs of all genre, and basically play it in our style, which we call our roots style.
Sure.
And it's got I call it island rock too, because I want to differentiate myself from other bands and stuff, and kind of start a movement where I have a specific style that I feel like and we describe ourselves as a reggae jam band because we have a lead guitar player now, we have a saxophone player now, we have percussionists, and it's really like we never play the same song the same way
Same way
twice. And
Boom, man, that's the Grateful Dead's motto, bro. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
and I never was a huge Grateful Dead fan. My lead
Right.
guitar player Brent is a huge, Grateful Dead guy, and he's a huge guitar guy.
Sure.
So I feel like adding him, I just plug right into the amp. I'm very simple.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I play acoustic guitar a lot.
Yeah, beautiful.
So yeah, that's what I'd say is like we're a mix of reggae, rock, jam, dub, and a little bit, a hint of that southern flair, being from Central Virginia, and basically Carolinas being my stomping ground over the past couple years.
Hell yeah. Well, you definitely keep that roots vibe. That's why you're on the show. And it's kind of cool. One of my guilty pleasures, straight up, is it's funny that you mentioned is late '90s, early 2000s country, man. Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson, Kenny Chesney. I absolutely love that, man. And it's funny that you mentioned Hawaiian reggae. There's an app called the Hawaiian Reggae Network. You should check it out, man. It's a radio station that plays nothing but Hawaiian reggae all the time. You've heard of it?
I have not heard of that. I will definitely have to check that out.
Yep. The Hawaii Reggae Network. Yeah, it's really good. So if you like that, man. Yeah, it's just nonstop. It's a radio station, but they loop the Hawaii reggae the whole time. You throw the app on, and boom, really, really, really good stuff, man. But yeah, that's totally cool. That I can talk to somebody on a roots reggae podcast about country music. So
and I feel like they have a lot in common. Like I feel like they say country is 3 chords in the truth. I'll tell people on the microphone, reggae is 2 chords in the life.
Right.
So it's like music is so powerful because it can break down barriers, external barriers that everybody likes to focus on. Mm-hmm. And music doesn't have a color. It's a vibration. It doesn't have, anybody can do it. Anybody can make music. Anybody can play music. If you can, hit a rock with a stick and make noise, you're a musician. You know what I mean? So I like to think that Righteous Roots is kind of breaking down barriers in a way where we'll play songs of any genre and we'll play it in our own style. And it's not necessarily as rootsy as, Bob Marley and the Wailers, but it's not necessarily, Jimmy Buffett either. It's kind of like somewhere
in between.
Somewhere in there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you straight up with your attitude, man, you're going to go exactly where you want to go. Because that's what it takes. You can be the best musician in the world, have a shit attitude, and it's just, you're not going to go anywhere. But, I definitely like what you're laying down, man. It's very cool, bro. So, we talked about the genres. So, which artists have had the biggest influence on your early songwriting? When you first started, what kind of, who were you kind of, like listening to? And
so I started songwriting in high school, and I started songwriting in high school, and I was listening to I don't listen to a lot of the reggae that's coming out currently.
Right.
A lot of stuff I listened to came out maybe between 2000 and 2010 or either that or it's like very rootsy reggae from the old days.
Yeah, I'm like a late 70s or like mid to late 70s guy myself, man. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as Righteous Roots, I would say probably like Sublime or Slightly Stupid and Tribal Seeds and
Tribal Seeds, man. That's
the Movement. Yes. The Green is my favorite Hawaiian reggae band.
Boom.
So those are, I will say, my favorite. And I'm listening to a lot of bands that I'm digging right now. Sense Emotion, Dubbest, Dubbest.
Yep. I always say Dubbest, so I'm an idiot. I've been saying
Dubbest. Maybe I call them. I don't know because I really don't know, but I like their music a lot.
I don't either.
Sense Emotion.
Yep.
But as far as like, I don't listen to a lot of the stuff coming out right now, but I do like the rootsy stuff, and I'll say that inspired. I like the stuff that, I'm weird. I like reggae that is very conscious, and I like my reggae to be like old and have Bible verses in it, and like be very spiritual and be very connected to source.
Amen.
And connected to the Most High. And even though my music itself, I want my music to be more conscious and more towards that, but a lot of it's playing balance between, like, when you're playing these shows and these venues, they want to party, you know, so it's a balance between feel good reggae, feel good party music, and hey, let's get serious major chords, minor chords. Something about minor chords just makes you want to like just get very conscious and talk about injustice and stuff like that. So it's just but then the happy chords, then you want to let's party, let's smoke, let's roll one up and this and that. So but I would say all those bands and there's a lot more. I got really big into the American reggae scene in high school, Revolution and Stick Figure, of course, and also like hip hop, because when I produce, I was a hip hop producer for a very long time. Starting in high school, I sold beats for a period of time.
Right on.
So when I produce reggae, I'm not using a bass guitar. I'm using a bass plugin inside of the software, and it almost gives it like a hip hop production vibe.
Yeah, if you can get that heavy bass, those heavy bass hits too. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. That, very low sub bass frequencies, and you can't really hear it on a cell phone. But I love the really rootsy reggae. Eakin Mouse, Peter Tosh, all those guys. Jamaica and everything. But Hawaiian reggae, I really love Hawaiian reggae as well. And and that's the thing. It's like it's all over the world. You got UK, you got Australia, Canada. It's all over the place, and I like finding really low-key bands and just stuff that has, not even over 10,000 plays on Spotify, and just looking for stuff,
Absolutely, man. 100%. And it's cool that that you mentioned the UK. My go-to favorite straight-up reggae artist, man. Like I said, my favorite American reggae band, collectively, Tribal Seeds. I love a lot of the old underground stuff, too. But Holly Cook, man, you got to check her out. She's got that vintage sound. You know who she is?
I have, it sounds familiar, but I have not heard of her.
She is a UK reggae artist. Her dad was the drummer for the Sex Pistols, and her mother was a backup singer for Culture Club. And she sings, she's a keyboardist and sings reggae music. It's got a vintage sound, so it sounds like it's old school, but it's new. Bro, it is good, man. And it's definitely a revolutionary reggae sound, so check her out, Holly Cook, man.
Okay, I'll check her out. And I big up to Tribal Seeds because I feel like they're another one of those bands where they can drop a song and it's got that classic. Automatically, it's like a classic
100%
production or something. It's just it just sounds like, I've known this song my whole life type deal. So those are, and really the movement too. I love the movement. And we grew up going to reggae shows in Central Virginia. And I don't really go to reggae shows like that anymore. I'm like, man, I want to be on the stage. Like, I want to be opening for these guys. So it kind of is like over the years, crazy to see how how my mindset has changed. I don't really go to shows like that anymore. And I play a lot of shows too, so I'm very busy. So it's hard for me too.
Yes, of course, man. Yeah. Have you heard of, you talking about Virginia, you've heard of Cultivated Mind?
Yes.
Yeah, they're the official reggae band of Hippie Fari Reggae Radio on podcast. We do a monthly podcast with them. It's called Cultivated Mondays. So the first Monday of every month we drop their podcast. But they are absolutely fantastic Virginia reggae, man. It's really good stuff.
Yeah. Tony, I was watching y'all's podcast actually before this because I was trying to see kind of just like the platform and how y'all went about it. But yeah, he's an extremely skilled artist and musician.
Big time.
I have a ton of respect for him, and I saw him in Virginia, in Richmond, before I ever even started playing shows with my old buddy Gabe. He has a band himself called Native Dread out of Virginia Beach. So
great name.
Big up to Gabe. That's kind of like, that was the first reggae band I guess you could say I was in. I had little garage bands in high school. And we kind of went our separate ways, but big up to Gabe out of Virginia Beach as well. But yeah, Tony's is like, he's really good at what he does, and especially the ability to play all those instruments and production and the trumpet. It's like, I'm just an acoustic guitar kind of guy, so I just like I'm very impressed by that for sure. And
the beautiful thing about Cultivated Mind is they can relate to what you were just saying. They are conscious as fuck, man. You know what I mean? Straight up.
I want my music to go more in that direction. A lot of it, I was thinking, there's music that you're talking to, kind of, you could be talking to yourself, you could be talking to society.
Right.
It could be, to an individual. But a lot of my songs are about overcoming obstacles. Righteous Roots is about roots grow and they get deeper and deeper, and they create basically they can't be swayed by weather,
Right.
by distractions, so that's how I feel is I'm still a Padawan at this point. Like, I'm only a couple years into the game. Guys like Tony, they've been at this for a while, and so I'm still learning and I'm still strengthening my roots, and I'm trying to grow. I feel like I want to acknowledge that growth never ends. I can always do better. I can always learn more. And so that's another thing about Righteous Roots, not only roots music, but it's our inner roots, our soul. How grounded can we become spiritually with the Most High, with one another, And that's why I love music, reggae music especially, just breaking down barriers, uniting all people of all ethnicities and all religious upbringings, and just coming to the understanding that, we all come from the same source. We all bleed red. We all go through ups and downs.
Beautiful.
And we all need forgiveness. We all make mistakes, and we're all just people. And that's why I love music so much, is because anybody can relate to it, and it's something that can really bring the people together almost more than anything else. Like, I don't think anything could bring people together probably more than music.
It doesn't. If you think about it this way, man, when you were in high school, when you were in middle school, people hung out together with the groups based on the kind of music you listened to. You had the punks, you had, this, that, the other. But, yeah, people associate with the kind of music they listen to. Clubs and bars are based on music, man. Life is based on music. So you're exactly right, man. It's definitely a massive part. And speaking of the music, your track right here definitely made some waves. It's got a soulful vibe to it, big time, bro. Can you kind of talk about the message behind that track?
So that song, by the way, we have a music video we shot on the James River in Richmond, Virginia.
Yes.
We also played a show later that night at Northside Grill. Big up to Northside Grill, Northside, Richmond, Virginia. And big up to our videographer, Patty Stacks Productions out of Richmond, Virginia. If anyone needs music videos, he's the guy to go to, Patty Stacks Productions. He's on YouTube right here. Music videos on YouTube. But that song is basically, it's kind of like me talking to myself, like, don't worry, you're right here. And it's also about staying in the moment, staying in the current situation, focusing on your current on the current situation at hand, and just being grounded in now. You know what I mean? Not thinking about what's going to happen next.
Sure.
Not thinking about what happened in the past. It said, don't worry, I'm right here. And it's kind of like, I feel like the Most High works through us.
Amen.
We're all capable of good and bad, but I feel like the Most High is within all of us and speaks to all of us.
You're right.
At certain periods throughout our life. So it's kind of like my higher power talking to me, telling myself, hey, it's going to be all right. I'm right here. You don't got to worry. And, although life can get hard, and it can seem like you're just running in place, and it can seem like there's all these obstacles and distractions, just don't worry. Just be right here. I'm right here with you. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the focus of that song, and we wanted to get out in nature, and I really like the outcome of the music video. So
yeah,
I'm
that's a really beautiful explanation, man. You're exactly right. And when you said, the Most High is with you and in you and a part of you, that's why the Ross is, I and I. It's not me and you. It's God is within us, man. We are divine. We have the ability to channel God. And, I'm not ashamed to say, Hippie Fari Reggae Radio podcast, we are huge believers and, love God straight up. Love the Most High, love the divine. And, it's amazing, man. So thank you. That's a really, really, really awesome answer. So guys, check that song out right here. Now let's go on to another one I kind of wanted to talk about, Love Her Roots. Is there like a deep meaning behind that title and theme?
So our manager, Sam, she's also my partner going on 5 years now.
Nice. Oh, so your manager's your girl.
Yeah.
Great, good for you. Well, my boss for the podcast is my wife, so.
So she is the one who does all the hard work. I'm just the person who goes on stage and sings a couple songs.
That's so funny. Yes, amen.
So really, that song is about. It's like I got really big into lovers rock, especially Hawaiian. There's something about Hawaiian reggae and lovers rock where they just mesh, and Hawaiians love singing about beautiful women and their love for their woman and stuff like that. And they can also sing like angels.
Sure.
I don't know what's up with Hawaiians, with their genetics or what, but they can sing super high, and they can harmonize like angels.
Sure.
So
and they play that ukulele amazing too. Yeah, they're just incredible. You're right.
And I will say that like I am kind of embarrassed at my production quality for that EP, but I leave it up because it shows my progression, I guess you could say, and it's about her inner love, her roots, like her inner roots. Like I was talking about righteous roots, your inner roots. She's the most she's the kindest person I know. She's so caring and loving, and she's always there for me through the ups and downs, and she books a lot of our shows. She helps us out a lot. She helps with driving, promotion, and I just love her roots, and it's just like I love her soul. That's basically saying I love her soul, and the artwork is like roots where her heart would be. And yeah, and it's kind of like a silhouette of just a female. So I found on the internet, and we made the album art, and we do everything pretty much. It's just me and her. She quit her job a couple years ago. We deliver on the side, doing DoorDash here and there to make a little extra. But yeah, this is me and her. This is our thing. It's like we decided that we're not going to stop no matter what, and we're going to see it through. And yeah, that's kind of what that EP is about. One of those songs, Fall With You, is a song I wrote when I was 16 before I ever met her, but it's kind of like a lover's rock song.
Yeah, right on.
I wrote that song right after I got back from Jamaica, and it's like falling down in the rising tide, and it won't ever end. But I want to fall with you. If I'm going to be falling, and I'm going to keep falling over, and it's going to keep knocking me over, I want to do it alongside you. You know what I mean? So I didn't produce that song until about 10 years later, but I did write that song when I was 16 years old, just got back from Jamaica. So, yeah, that's what that EP is kind of about. And I just wanted to put something out, that was really 2021 or 2022. And I had just started playing shows around Central Virginia at that point, and that's around the time I quit my job for good at the smoke shop in 2022. But I started playing shows in 2021, and we were running into some scheduling conflicts. I had to turn down a lot of gigs and podcasts and stuff like that just to go to work. And so, yeah, I like being my own boss, and it's really hard. And I kind of live a minimalist lifestyle. But I try. One of my songs is called "Don't Need a Lot," and I feel like I don't need a lot. I have everything I need.
Amen.
Thank Jah. So I got everything I need.
Word.
But I don't need a lot, and we live a very humble lifestyle, and we have everything we need. So I'm happy with the way things are and the way things are going.
That's beautiful, man. Right on, and that's really, really awesome that you speak that way about your girl. Exact same way with me, man. It's a two-person show. She does all the stuff, man. If it wasn't for her, this would just be a podcast nobody would know about. So all the reels, everything she does. So I can totally relate to that, man. So that's beautiful. I'm probably going to play that track for her when the podcast is over. So thank you for that, man. And since we're on the music, we have the honor here at Hippie Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast dropping one of Righteous Roots' unreleased tracks. So this is actually a beautiful thing. I have listeners in like 45 different countries, man. Indonesia's a big one. So this is kind of a treat, guys. So unreleased. Thank you. Much love for allowing us to to share this with the world, man. So this is called Strong Foundation. Once again, this is unreleased music from Righteous Roots. You heard it first here on Hippie Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast.
Just me and King in that big green van. We travel all across God's Greenland. I know it'll be alright. Just gotta stick to the plan. But you can't build no house here on top of sand. Need a strong foundation to build your house. And I found out lately what life's about. Although I love them, I can't let them in, 'cause a strong foundation can't be built on sand. And if you fall down, you know you gotta get up again. They wanna see you frown. That's when you flash your grin. Let a fool be a fool. And just stay true, 'cause it all comes around. You'll know what to do. But it was just me and King, one in that big green van. We travel all across God's Greenland. I know it'll be alright, just gotta stick to the plan. But you can't build a house now on top of sand. Need a strong foundation to build that house. And I found out lately what life's about. Although I love you, I can't let you in, 'cause a strong foundation can't be built on sand. I wanna take care of my own. I wanna make sure that it's strong. I wanna build it all night long. I wanna write another song. Can you feel me, man? Let's make amends. I don't wanna lose a friend. You're heaven sent. Open up my third eye, permanent. Look out on this view, just reminisce. I don't want no bad vibes up in my temple. I've been working a long time, just on my mental. All this pressure, it's getting critical. Look up the job, will you come and save me again, save me again? Will you come and save me again, save me again?
That was strong foundation, man. Damn, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I'm not bullshitting you. That is a fucking dope track. That has got all
Thank
the
you.
elements of just straight up feel good reggae, bro. That puts you in such a great mood. The way that it flows, it goes from, you know, the note to note, the progressions. That's solid, man. That is really, really, really good, bro. I'm stoked as fuck for you to be able to release that.
Thank you.
That's awesome, man. Really, really nice job, man. Really nice. What's that
I
about?
appreciate that. I really appreciate the feedback. And so that song is like I said, about, you know, planting your roots. And
Right.
I had the idea for the song playing out in the Outer Banks and looking at these beach houses that are just getting like taken by the ocean.
Sure.
So it's there's a lot of, I feel like reggae music is very highly spiritual and almost esoteric in a way, you know, metaphysical, and I feel like it's very, there's a lot of metaphors within it. And so when I talk about a strong foundation to build your house, that's really about, when I came to North Carolina, in Virginia, it was kind of like I was just hanging on, you know what I mean? I was just hanging on. But when I came to North Carolina, I really found my family, my people, and I knew that they had good intentions with me, and I love my guys in Virginia too. All the people that are part of Righteous Roots in our Virginia fam. I still, a lot of them, we're still gonna play some shows together with some of my Virginia musicians. But when I came to North Carolina, I really felt like it's about who you have around you and the energy that you keep around you. You want to have a strong foundation, and I feel like also I've been put in a lot of spots throughout my life where I felt like it was because I wasn't grounded enough, or I didn't have a strong enough foundation, so it would sway me in one way or the other, or negatively affect me anytime something went wrong. I didn't know how to handle it. And so really just putting in the groundwork, putting in the footwork, playing shows as consistently as possible, working on music, that's me trying to create a strong foundation, but also having boundaries and saying, you know, sticking up for myself and saying, you know, this is my line, you know, this is my foundation. I can't let certain energies into it to disrupt this vibration that I'm looking to you know, form and build. Basically, the metaphor for building your house, they say your temple is up here, and I said I don't want no bad vibes in my temple. And you could consider that a physical location, or you could consider it, you know, your mind.
You talk about using your third eye too, which is cool, man.
So opening up,
I can definitely relate to that. Yeah, I'm a pretty spiritual dude, so yeah, I liked that. That stuck out to me. That was awesome.
Yeah, and that's about just, you know, not harboring any resentment towards anybody, but also, you know, like the song is about forming a strong foundation, but also moving forward with positivity towards one another. And, you know, I think it's important that we love everybody in our lives, even those who we feel have wronged us or whatever the circumstance. I feel like it's very important that we love everybody, but it's also very important to choose the company you keep and what energies you're going to allow to permeate your consciousness. So boom.
You're exactly right, man. You are a product of your environment, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can love from a distance, you know what I'm saying? 100%. If it doesn't fit your narrative, you know, that's not the right. Yes, I can say I totally agree with you on that, man. So since we got to talk about a lot of your songs and listen to one, kind of pretty, you know, briefly, what comes first, man? The groove or the lyrics?
So when I'm doing all this production in the Ableton is what I use, is the name of the software. I have a MIDI keyboard. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. But for certain songs, I'll use drum loops that are pre-made or pre-recorded. Yeah. For other songs, I'll build the loops from scratch. Mm-hmm. And I have drum kits. Shout out to Green Lion crew.
Love Green Lion, bro. They're dope.
Yeah, so I bought their, I don't know which drum kit it was, but they basically sample live drums, and then you can put your own rhythms together. So I'll usually, if I start with a drum loop, that's what I'll start with, and then I'll build around that, and usually go bass, keys, guitar, and then vocals. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I will start with keys if I'm doing the drums myself, because I need something to add the drums to. Basically, I can't just build the drums first. You know, I do that when I'm making hip hop beats and stuff. Yeah, I'll do the drums first. But for reggae, if I'm not using a drum loop, I'll usually start with the keys and the bubble. You know, so and I'm doing everything. We do everything where I live. I call it Blue Dog Studios, but you know, I live in a studio apartment, very, very humble, and I'm not here. I travel a lot for music, so I don't need a mansion or anything. But we do everything in house. It's just like a little. This microphone right here is on top of a, you know, plastic table I bought at Walmart. That's awesome. I got my monitors and my little 2-input interface and my computer, and I just kind of. The only things I really record, I would say, are my voice and my guitar. Everything else I'm playing with the keyboard or clicking in with the mouse. So it's just trying to get it to sound realistic, and that's the hardest thing, and just trying to make it sound realistic. But I'm going to get in the studio soon with our drummer, Jeff. Shout out to Jeff Hefe. And we're gonna get some record some drum loops, because then once I have those, I can have them forever and basically build infinite songs. Beautiful. If I get, say, 5 different drum patterns from him, 5 different fills,
sure,
I can take that and run with that and make thousands of songs. You know, there's no limit to it, really. So.
And you were talking about your bass a little bit earlier, and that's one thing I love about Tribal Seeds, especially live. It's, you got the bass guitar, but they got that boom, that heavy bass, and that's what that last track you just played. That the bass. I'm a huge sucker for bass, man. Well, reggae, the bass. I mean, everything's important, but the bass is the most important. For the most part, that's what carries a lot of reggae music, straight up. You normally in regular rock and roll, the rhythm guitar would play. The bass is the rhythm. So that was some pretty hard hitting bass for a nice chill tune. So that gives it that oomph. You know what I mean? That's what I love about reggae. That. It can get you amped up, and it's hard hitting, but so that's awesome, man. So how does the studio process compare to playing live to you?
So in the studio, there's a lot more effects that can be added, and I feel like playing live, when I do studio tracks, I usually use my Les Paul right here. I just bought a new electric guitar, but
nice.
I usually use this right here for recording guitar. But when I play live, sometimes I use just an acoustic electric guitar because I have a lead electric guitar player. So I like to balance it out with acoustic and electric. I'll kind of play rhythm on the acoustic while I sing, and then my lead guitar player has all these pedals and has really nice electric guitars and stuff like that. So but I still play electric guitar every now and again, but I'll say that it's more dubby kind of sounding. It's
right
a little more, you can hear that it's produced, but when live, it's very raw. Like, I know a lot of guys have a lot of different gear and stuff. My thing has always been, I want my skill set to kind of speak for itself, and that might be like a little chip on my shoulder, I don't know, but I just plug right in. I just plug acoustic right into the mixer, minimal effects, really no effects on the guitar, and on my voice I'll maybe put a little delay or reverb. But yeah, I mean, we don't have any saxophone in our produced tracks so far, and we have a saxophone player currently. I would say, and I've been doing all the lead guitar and stuff like that, drums, everything in my productions. So I've been doing everything, but whereas with the band, they have more of an input when we play live. So it's almost, like I said, when we play live, we're like a jam band. Whereas when I put songs on Spotify, I don't want them to be, super long, as if we're playing a 15-minute song at a gig.
Right, exactly. Yep. Yeah, there's a few bands that get away with that. String Cheese Incident, Fish, but yeah. Yeah,
I was never a big jam band guy. Like I said, I never thought that I would say that I have a jam band or I'm a leader of a jam band, but here we are, and it works really well where I'm at, and especially in Richmond too. There's a huge jam band community in Richmond, but I don't think they would consider me a jam band.
Right.
But that's how I started marketing myself now, as a reggae jam band, island rock. That's kind of what we call it now, and I try not to hog all the, I like playing rhythm guitar and letting my guitar player go on a long solo, or letting, my bass player do some cool stuff. And like you said, reggae bass, it's hard to find guys that understand how to like stay in the pocket and like really like not do too much, because if they're coming from different jazz or whatever backgrounds, and a lot of my guys are jazz guys, which I love them to death, and they're freaking awesome musicians, but it's very easy to do too much on the bass.
100%, man. You're exactly right.
So it's with reggae, but I got a kid now, he goes to the UNCW down here, and he plays a mean reggae bass. I have a couple of bass players down here. I kind of like, my philosophy is basically, I have a Righteous Roots family. I got a list of bass players, a list of drummers that I can call at any given moment throughout Virginia, throughout North Carolina.
Hired guns, man.
Yeah, so I have my, obviously I have my A team who I would like to be at every single
core,
show, but
yeah.
my biggest thing is like keeping the show on the road, pushing the brand, spreading the name, and just, you know, as long as everybody is good at what they do, which they are, if they're a part of Righteous Roots, and not talking about myself, but if they're a part of Righteous Roots and I've, you know, had asked them to be a part of it, they're good at what they do.
Hell yeah.
Everyone in Virginia that's a part of it is good at what they do. And it just becomes like a fun thing. You know what I mean? The crowd doesn't necessarily, a lot of the songs we do as a band, I try to keep it simple. I try to keep 2-3 chords, 1 chord progression, 2 chord progressions at most.
Yep.
And we just jam. And it's just like, there's no rules, but it's tight at the same time. And when I feel it start to get a little loose, I'll say, you know, let's get back to it. Or I'll say something I'll say, let's get back or whatever. And we'll just get back into that tight, rootsy, you know, vibe.
Yep.
So
that's beautiful.
we let loose and then we reel it back in, and then we let loose and we reel it back in, and it's working out really well for us. It's almost like I take my career seriously, but I don't want to stress when I'm at a gig, and it's almost very nonchalant, very laid back, and I feel like sometimes that can form the best shows is when it's like we're just jamming. You know, it's not really there's not really any pressure to. We know it's not going to be perfect. You know, one of us is bound to hit the wrong note. One of us is bound to get off timing. So we kind of go into it. I don't tell my guys what to do on their instrument at all.
Right.
So I trust them completely, and I think I have a really good team down here, and I'm really excited for the future. So
that's beautiful, man. So let's give a shout out to the core of Righteous Roots, man, or, you know, as you call them, your A team. Not a downplay to all the other guys that play, but your core group. You know what I mean? So can you kind of go ahead and shout those guys out for us real quick and tell us what instruments they play?
Yes. So my main man Brent, he helps out with our merchandise a lot. He has a merchandise company called yourmusicmerch.com.
Right.
That's, you can get customizable Righteous Roots merch, and he can also help any other bands that may need merch. Hit up Brent, yourmusicmerch.com, and he plays a mean lead guitar. He's based down here in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm a little bit north. I'm closer to Surf City, North Carolina is where I'm living currently.
Right.
But shout out to Brent, and then we got Ethan on the bass. He's the college student that I was telling you about. He's about to move to Raleigh. He got accepted to NC State, so congratulations to him.
Word.
I'm hoping to have him on some shows, even though he'll be living there. It just depends, but we have several bass players, like I mentioned, but he's been my go-to guy so far. And then on drums, we have my brother Jeff. Me and Jeff really hit it off when I met him, and he was also working at like a smoke shop as well when I met him. So that's how I met Jeff, and Jeff is a very humble person. He's a very hardworking person, and he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And so we clicked immediately, and we've been around like playing music, and he's been doing it a lot longer than me. All these guys, well, really Brent, Jeff, they've been doing it longer than me. And Ethan, he's young, but he's been doing it too, and he's in 3 different bands right now. And so from there we have Josh on percussion. Don't let me forget about Josh, and he's a great guy as well. He just had a little baby boy.
Nice, right on.
So shout out to my nephew.
And I gotta give
Augie.
a shout out to him because I'm a percussionist as well. So that's I play in Smyrna Herb. It's a local reggae band. So yeah, I love percussion, man. So I love my percussionists too, man. It's a community. You know what I mean? I have mad respect for people that slap drums with their hands, bro.
Yeah. So I try to he's a real percussionist. Like he's a specialist. So shout out to Josh. He's another guy who he's one of my first friends when I moved down here in 2023, and then he was with me, him and Brent, my lead guitar player. We did a Planet Z Radio. Shout out to Planet Z Radio
right on.
In Whiteville, North Carolina. We did a podcast with them. I think they might have changed the name of the radio station or something. It's an internet radio station, but at that point in time, they were called Planet Z Radio, and it was called the Under the Radar podcast. And that it should be on Spotify, I think. I'm not sure, but anyways, Josh and Brent did that with me, and then we added Nathaniel, our saxophonist, And yeah, he just added a whole other element. And shout out to James, our saxophone player in Richmond. Shout out to Chris, our drummer in Richmond. Shout out to Ron, our bass player in Richmond. But and Brenning, our drummer in like Charlottesville area.
Well, you
Adam,
are a jam band, bro. You should get every single person in your catalog, bro, and have like 40 people on stage and just fucking tear it up for like an hour.
Yeah, so we also like have a DJ down here.
Nice, that's awesome.
He's actually DJ Don Rasta. His sound system is called House of Tough RI, like Tafari.
Yeah, right on.
But TUFF-RI, and so he's our backup drummer actually, and he plays a mean reggae drum. He's a very strictly roots guy. He's got dreadlocks down to the ground, scraping the ground. So him, and shout out DJ Hota as well, his partner. And so they come to a lot of our shows, and they'll spin classic roots records while we are setting up and while we take set breaks. And I want that to be like I really want to build a community down here, and because there is I don't like it, but there is a lot of competition amongst reggae mons. So like so I'm trying to be the person that's like, hey, let's all do a festival together. Like, let's throw a festival. Let's all be on the festival. Let's split it all evenly. And I do my own festival in Virginia called Reggae at the River.
Nice.
And on the Appomattox River at Appomattox Boat Harbor. Shout out to Harbor Blast. We're doing it again this year, August 30th. And so basically I get to create the lineup and the flyer and all that stuff.
Nice.
They handle more of the other stuff like drinks and sound and food and stuff. But yeah, that's the third year in a row we're doing it. And it's kind of like we did all Virginia reggae bands and one North Carolina band the first year. The second year, last year, we did 2 North Carolina bands and 2 Virginia bands, I think. And last year, I kind of rushed to put it together. It wasn't as successful as the first year, but I just wanted to keep it consecutive. But yeah, those are my guys, and they're all really good at what they do, and I'm very grateful for them. They're also like emotional support, because it's stressful leading a band, and it's hard to find people who understand all the ins and out of it. It's not just like, after the show they kind of get to go home and focus on other stuff. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. But it's like I'm Righteous Roots every time I wake up.
Yeah,
it's
this
like
is your
I wake
baby,
up,
man. So you're always dressing like you got to be represented properly. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you want people that share that passion, bro. Straight up.
Yeah. So it's like it's just about finding the right formula, and like I said, I keep it simple. I think that's the best formula to really like, we don't practice. Like, I don't want to say that, but like we don't practice at all.
Right.
Like,
a lot of bands, I hear you. Like, I mean, some bands do, but like I was in the band was in South Florida. I mean, we never did until we were on stage. That was
I feel like every show is practice for the next show. Yeah, so that's my mindset. Yep. And there's a lot of bands that, hey, we need to practice 25 times before the show 3 weeks from now, and it's like, and then they never play out, and it's like, basically my whole mission was to find the guys that may be somewhat overlooked, or maybe they just have all this skill and they're just not being utilized, and I'm trying to find them and bring them together. Yeah. And also they have to understand where I'm coming from, where I'm like, this is right now I don't make enough for everybody to just quit their jobs. Yeah. Right now it's only me and our manager Sam doing it full time, and so eventually I want it to be that way. Eventually I want everyone to be doing Righteous Roots full time, and that's the ultimate goal for me. But they understand, like, they get paid for every time they come to a show. Of course. But we do a lot of charity shows too. We just did Burgers and Bands for suicide prevention awareness in Wilmington. Shout out to Burgers and Bands. We played Cape Fear Equestrian Rescue. Right on. Saving the Horses. We headlined that festival. All that stuff is free. We did all that stuff for free. And that's, like I said, with the conscious music, how I want my music. It's very feel good, a lot of it. I wanted to start becoming more conscious because that's what I listen to. Yes. And that's what I enjoy to listen to the most. I'm not much of a partier. I don't really drink. I quit smoking and vaping after the whole pneumonia stuff. Yeah. Good for you. And, I've had my issues with drugs. And so I'm trying to keep I'm trying to stay grounded to source, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of that stuff alcohol and all that stuff, but it's crazy because I'm in the middle of all of it. It's like, although I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. I'm inside, like I'm around drug addicts. I'm around alcoholics.
You're in the hub, man. The Matrix,
so
baby.
I'm in there, like I'm in there with the party animals, and I'm trying to just not lose focus, you know what I mean? Because it's easy as a musician to feel like, oh, I'm a rock star, like I'm this and that, like I can live this rock star life, and it's like, you know, you'll burn out real fast. And so I try to keep that in mind, and my guys do a good job of being there for me and you know, giving me advice when I need it. And like I said, I'm 28 years old. I've been doing it full time since 2022, and I started in 2021. But to me, I still feel like it's very early on in my journey.
Yep.
So I like to
How old
try
are you
and
then?
remind
What'd
myself
you say?
that I am 28.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
I started late though.
Legit
it's like
old enough to be your dad, bro. Straight up. That's all right though.
Well, I played my first show when I was like 18. Shout out to my friend from high school, Karina. Her family owned a restaurant, and they had us. I played there, and I was probably so awful. But then I got really deep into partying. Like I moved into an apartment with my two best friends at the time, right after graduation.
Yeah.
And we were drinking and smoking. I was taking, you know, GBs up my nostril and like straight to the brain. And like, we were doing, you know, all types of stuff, pills and all types of stuff. And
yeah,
anyways,
I mean, you actually wrote a song about it, like, plants over pills, man. So obviously, that's after you decided that life was fucked up and you didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, so like my friend who I was telling you about that I don't want to. I said he overdosed, but I really don't know.
Right.
Really don't know, but that's what everybody was kind of saying. So we used to you know, party a little hard together, and I felt guilty about that whole situation. I felt very guilty. I felt like, you know, I should have said something to him or been like, hey, this isn't the way, you know. And a lot of that music, that's another reason I stepped away and moved towards reggae, is because a lot of that music is about you know, disrespecting women, self idolization, self worship, you know, like, you know, materialistic urges, like splurging on cars and stuff, and just I would say it was low vibrational glorifying drugs, glorifying depression, glorifying, you know, suicide, unfortunately. And there was a team of producers I was working for that produced music for Suicide Boys at the time before I started the Reggae Project, which is obviously a rap group. But I kind of I wanted to get away from music that kind of like, that was like a aesthetic, I guess, you know. I kind of wanted to get away from an aesthetic that I felt was, and I recently lost another friend that went to my high school that had a more successful in that genre than me. He also recently passed away, and several friends from my hometown, they were all SoundCloud rappers, passed away. And it's like, man, this, what you consume is so important, and it's not just music. It's food. It's what you drink. It's the energies you keep around, what you consume, and also what you focus on, like your intention, what you focus on, what you consume. It's all, very, very, it's all very important. I don't want to downplay any of that, because you can consume more than just food. You can consume, you know, what you listen to and all that stuff. So
absolutely, 100%, man. So you're after hearing all that, man, that's kind of put you in a spot, I'm assuming, where you kind of feel like maybe you kind of have a duty. You know, you walked away from one thing, you're walking into another thing. You said you wanted to be more conscious. How does your music now, or in the future, how do you see it contributing to social consciousness and healing? You know what I mean? Is that kind of the path that you're going to be taking?
Yes. So like I said earlier, music to me does not have a color. I feel like there's anybody can listen to music. Anybody can make whatever kind of music they want, and it can bring people together. And I feel like that's the message I want to push, is that even within the reggae community, in all that, it's still the music industry to where there can be certain divisive mindsets where it's like, oh, you're not reggae enough, or you don't fit the bill. Like,
Right.
look at me, I'm a white guy, I got locks, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't fit everyone's perfect idea of what a reggae artist should be. But like I said, I feel like I want to break down barriers. I want to end racism through, I'll play a country song in a reggae style. Like there's a reggae version of Country Roads by John Denver, by Toots and the Maytals.
Yeah.
So I want people to understand that, hey, we're more alike than we think. You know what I mean? Like 100%. We have more in common. Like music, there's 3 chords in the truth. Like I said, you know, 3 little birds, 3 chords. You know what I mean? Stir it up, 3 chords. And it's like, I want it to be like, my version of reggae is the version where there is no ethnicity that is above another. And if you listen to Rastafari, Haile Selassie,
100%.
He says, you know, war will never end until the philosophy that one race is somehow above another.
Yes, and we are all
you know
divine,
what I mean?
man. You know, you have to look at, in my opinion, you look at other people, view them as, you know, like you're looking at God. You know, you're looking at a divine creation from God. You know, God is in us. We are a part of God. When you insult somebody, you downplay somebody, you don't like somebody because of the color of their skin or anything stupid like that, you're insulting God, straight up. You know what I mean? So, and that's
Yeah, so I want it to be like, I want my music to speak on like, hey, music doesn't have a color. That's the thing. Right. It's like one of those things where it can really, any arbitrary borders that humanity likes to say, oh, like, you know, my group of people are the chosen ones, or no, my group of people are chosen ones, and like we're gonna commit genocide against this group of people, and like da da da, and they're gonna be, you know, our slaves, and we're gonna be, you know, da da da. It's like, it's just like, it's really, I want to break down those walls. You know what I mean? And however, if anybody feels like, because there are people who do think when they see me, oh, he's a culture vulture, he's this and that, or he's, you know, so, but they don't understand that I love roots reggae music. Like, I have a very deep appreciation for it.
Cultural appropriation is, you know what? Tell people, I'm an artist. I don't even understand what that word means. People borrow, and not even borrow. It's a form of endearment. You know what I mean? But everything came from somewhere else. I don't care who you are. It came from somewhere else. Unless you could straight up invented the absolute style, which I don't know anybody that like invented, you know, hamburgers or you know, dreadlocks or anything. So it came from somewhere else. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and it's like
you, bro. 100%.
I believe like in like, you know, biblical times, like I believe everybody had dreadlocks. I believe
100%, man.
You know, Jesus himself had dreadlocks, and to me, like,
the Hindus brought it over to, you know, the indentured servants when they came to Jamaica. So yeah, I mean, it's all been shared.
Yeah, I'm not a very religious person, but I definitely like believe in God, and I definitely believe, I don't identify with any religion, but I love the Bible. I think it's a very poetic book, and I think there's a lot of truth in all holy books, really. So, but I don't necessarily take it all very literally.
Right.
I try to take it on a metaphysical, a spiritual level, and I do believe in God. I do believe in a creator. Amen. And that's kind of like where I'm coming from, is like, I have dreadlocks not because I'm trying to fit an image, but because it's a spiritual thing for me. It symbolizes growth. Anybody can have dreadlocks. You know, all you got to do is have hair and not comb it or brush it, and just let it go. And anybody can technically, for our manager Sam, her hair will start dreading in you know, 5 seconds if she doesn't comb it. So,
man, I love it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's where I'm at, and that's, you know, however certain people, I've come to the point where I realized that like certain people are going to judge me based on that. Like certain people are going to see me and see that I'm white and see that I play reggae and see that I have locks and automatically not like me. But I've also I've kind of like accepted that, and I'm hoping that I can change people's hearts by having them get to know me, having them check out my music, and just hearing my point of view. And you know, they don't have to like it or anything, but I personally think that, you know, and even if you look at the Bible and you take the Noah story literally, if we all got off that boat and we all come from his 3 sons, it's like, you know, we're all really like we are one big family for real.
Man. Yep.
And there's not one that deserves to be above another. You know, we don't need to step on each other's backs to get somewhere. And you know, we can't change the past, but you know, we're moving towards the future, and we're trying to create equality amongst all ethnicities of people of all religious backgrounds. And I really think there's an objective good and evil. It's very objective in my mind, good and evil. So I feel like we're moving towards realization that, you know, all this external stuff is just dividing us. And if we keep focusing on all this external stuff, we need to focus more on what we have in common.
Amen.
And reggae music, that's the type of reggae that I love so much. It's very spiritual, highly spiritual music about unity. And, you know, that's my, and there's a Trevor Hall song called Unity. And it's about that. It's like, no more you and me, no more they and we, you know, all religions, all people, like, this is all, you know, I don't go to church, but it's like, you know, I do believe in God, and I do believe that this is where humanity is heading towards. And anybody that believes that their ethnicity is better than another, you know, I feel like that's a low vibrational
it is
thought process.
100%.
But I'm not here to, it's not my job to judge anybody, but that's my personal belief, and I try to, you know, hope that we can move past that as a human society, you know. And like I said, until the philosophy is done that one race is better than the other, it's never going to end.
And
you look
you
at the
can
Middle
change
East,
that, man. You know,
you look at the Middle East and all these places, it's like, it's sad what's going on, and it's sad that it's still going on to this day and all over the world in different areas. So it's I hope reggae music can help break down those walls.
It can 100%. That's what it was created for. Reggae music was created for revolution. That's why I talk about it in my intro. You know, the first reggae records were, you know, put out in Jamaica in the 60s. Man, this music was created for revolution, but it was created for community building. We are powerful when we are together, 100%. And you have to break down the walls, and we have to realize that we are all divine. We are all creatures, you know, all, you know, created by God to live a divine spiritual life. And we are much stronger together. You know, the quote that I always end my show with, and I'll say it right now, is strength and unity build your community. And that's what it's all about, man. It's all about that strong community building. And, you know, we were talking about earlier, music is very powerful. That's who we associate with by the kind of music we listen to. So you being on that route to create conscious music in your head, you're saying you want to create more of it. That's the path you want to be on. You're saying you hope you can invoke change? No, you can invoke change, and you will. Because if you're thinking that, there's definitely other people thinking that, you know. And if everybody eventually comes on that wavelength, my wife talks to me all the time, you know, we're talking about revolution. She's like, I don't think it's going to be like an armed revolution this time, you know. I think it's going to be a conscious revolution. And it is, because people are moving towards that realm of just seeing an issue, addressing it, and making sure it doesn't happen again, because people just don't want to be treated like shit. I don't care who you are. And if you don't want to do it, if you don't want to be treated that way, you certainly don't want to treat somebody else that way. And I think people are definitely coming to that realization, man. And I'm so glad
we can all
you
grow.
are, man.
We can all grow, and we can all, you don't have to stay the person that you were. You know what I mean? You can always move towards the light, you know? You don't have to, and you don't have to be who people tell you are. You can always grow, and you can always evolve into someone who you want to be. So I hope we can all understand that. And I think once we all understand that, and like you said, when you think it and you believe in it, it really does form an energy, a frequency in the air, and you know, it will attract others to that same frequency.
100%, man. So speaking of that, bro, obviously there's you're young, but there's a younger generation coming up, and they either go one way or the other, man. You know, it's that party way, you know, or it's like the conscious roots way. What advice would you give to the younger artists that are up and coming, that are trying to balance that creativity and you know, and that consciousness with the business? Because There's a lot of side of the business that's going to be like, you know, we want the party side, but what's some advice that you would give a younger artist to stay the path and not, you know, kind of give in to, you know, the party side of it, you know what I mean? And kind of stay the path and speak the truth and actually make real change.
Yeah, so that's partly why I used to be a lot more into, I guess you could call it white boy reggae. I guess when I was in high school, and there's a lot of bands that I listen to the lyrics and I feel like, you know, there's not much substance here. I feel like it's about, you know, partying, doing blow, and
Booty
hanging
and
out with
bitches,
strippers.
man. That's what Sabi
Yeah.
Fernandez said the other
You
day.
know,
It was on the podcast.
rolling it up,
That's what it's
you
all
know,
about.
burning. So
Yep.
I will say that people do enjoy songs about unity. People do enjoy, in live settings, they do enjoy consciousness. It's just, I feel like you can't get too deep because then
Right.
you'll lose them.
And they won't understand you, exactly.
Yeah, and you throw in a song here and there about, you know, smoking weed and this and that, and throw in, you know, but basically I'll say that, like I said before, although I walk through the valley of shadow of death, and to me, it's crazy because this is how I make a living. I would never go to a bar or, you know, I would never be in these places if I wasn't a musician, and I don't mean that as a disrespect to anybody who does drink and anybody who does, you know, participate, but I had to make that decision for myself, and I'm playing 3, 4, 5 shows a week consistently for years at a time, and, you know, never taking a break. I have to be in good shape, and I would tell that to a younger artist, like, you know, if you want to really hit the road as a musician like you say you want to, you literally can't. You might be able to get away with it now at 18. Like when I was partying at 18, man, I was doing things, you know, between 18 and 24 that
Staying
I
awake
cannot
3
get.
days in a row. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can't get
100%.
away with it now.
No,
I
hell
can't get
no,
away
dude.
with it
I'm
anymore.
46,
so
man. I feel you.
yeah, yeah, I can't get away with it anymore. So I would say, you know, be conscious, but certain gigs you can be more conscious than other ones.
Yeah.
And you can also play covers, you know, like you don't have to, if you really want to get a crowd into it, sneak in a couple party covers. You know, we'll play Joker by Steve Miller. We'll do that in a reggae style.
Beautiful.
You know, we'll play
Track everybody
We'll play an
knows.
Akon song. We'll do Akon. We'll do one that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Do it in our own style.
Yep.
And I'll tell that, you know, I have some younger guys who I'm telling you, you got it, man. There's a guy named Brandon Navarrete, my homie down here in Wilmington, and he's got it, man. He's got it. He's a great singer. He can play guitar. He's just starting to. He works at a smoke shop too, and so it's like I see him in myself. I see myself in him.
Beautiful.
And so I feel like I'm like, you know, come open for us this weekend. Come open for us this weekend. And he's like, dude, I don't know. You know, I don't feel like I'm ready. I'm like, dude, you're ready.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
Just play one or
Do
two
it.
songs,
Yep.
and he's got it, man. He's got everything needed to lead a reggae band, and it takes bumping your head a lot. You know, you got to bump your head. You got to make mistakes, and you got to realize what works and what doesn't. You got to study. You got to study people like Cultivated Mind. You got to study. Shout out Signal Fire out down here in Wilmington, North Carolina, the biggest reggae band in the area.
Yep, hell yeah.
I study Signal Fire. I look at the way he moves. I look at his maturity. I look at the way he handles things and the way he releases songs. And I think it's important to really lead by example. And there's people looking up to me, and I'm looking up to people.
Yep.
And those people might be looking up to people. And
Yep.
so it's like, it's basically, I'm not getting coached. You won't really get coached, but there are opportunities. There's always opportunities abundantly. You just have to believe that there are, and they will show up, and just take what you can from those who are living a life that you feel like represents what you're trying to do as well, and try and not emulate it, but create your own vibe, create your own
100%.
style, but really see what is working for others, and you know, that's the thing, is like,
And borrow what
that's
works
how
for
you learn. They don't necessarily have to tell you do this and this and this. No one's
Right.
going to do that for you, but
Yep.
it's good to look at what others are doing and really create your own way of doing things, but really using watching other people and using their ideas and seeing how they're creating their art and how they're going about it. And then you can take inspiration from all these different people and mesh it into the way you like to do things.
100%, man. Absolutely. And when you were talking about, getting older and going on tour and, and playing a lot of shows and, being able to play conscious music all the time, Natalie Rise, she was on my podcast, and when she goes on tour, she goes completely raw vegan. She just purifies herself and makes sure that she is completely clean and cleansed, you know what I mean, to be able to present that conscious message to the crowd, and I was like, that's pretty awesome, man, for an artist to actually take those steps to make sure that the crowd understands exactly what she's throwing out there. But I totally like what you said. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you're not getting coached, man, so you're looking at the people that are doing what you want to do, and you're, like, you didn't say emulating, but you're just kind of adapting and utilizing those traits that you like to make it work for you. And there's nothing wrong with that, man. I take a lot of my consciousness and a lot of my thought process. I don't watch a lot of podcasts because I do them all the time, but Groundation, Harrison Stafford, the lead singer, I share a lot in common with him when it comes to, like, the revolutionary mindset and all that kind of stuff. And he's definitely somebody that I look up to and I listen to. I everything he says I take absolute truth. So if I'm going to borrow something or emulate something, it's from him. I know that it's real. I know that it's straight up, and I really, really love what he's doing. So
yeah, I have a lot of respect for him and his music.
Oh,
and,
yeah, man.
I can't tell you like a song right off the top of my head, but I've definitely listened to a lot of Groundation, and also myself. Like, I recently went vegan.
Nice, right on, man. I'm a vegetarian.
I'm still transitioning. So some days I'll eat products that have milk or eggs or whatever.
Right.
But I'm still transitioning. But I've been at it for at least 6 months now, and I've been learning a lot about the lifestyle. And sure. I know there's Rastas that live that life, the ITAL lifestyle.
Diet, yeah. ITAL
so
diet, yeah.
I'm learning a lot about it, and also, I have a dog named King, and I talk about him in my music sometimes. He's in the New Strings album cover. But also just kind of just realizing that, hey, there's bodybuilders that are 3 times bigger than me, and they're vegan.
100%.
So
vegan bodybuilding is a huge thing, man.
Yeah, so there's like a lot of misinformation about it. People calling each other, calling people soy boys and this and that.
Right, yeah.
But it's really like you can really get everything you need, from plants. And
yes.
So
you're exactly right.
It's tough, though. It's tough, like being on the road, and there's not many options.
Right.
You can go get an Impossible Whopper or something, but
they are good. Me and my wife eat those. Probably a little too much, but
yeah. So it's tough adapting to it, but I think I've actually gained weight since I've started that journey. I've gained more weight, and I feel like I'm kind of trying to, like, shout out to Dale and the Z-Dubs. He's another person who I see.
Yeah, they're great.
He hits the road like nobody I've ever seen. Like,
right.
He really hits it. And the same with, like, Kyle Smith and shout out Ashley LaRue. These people, like, hit the road, And so, but I see Dale, and he's going on morning jogs, and he's working out, and, like, I'm like, man, this guy, that's something that I'm trying to build up to the point where I could play and sing every single night, because it wears on your voice.
Sure.
It wears on your body. You're driving in the car. You're feeling stiff. You have to stretch. You have to start working out.
Stephen Jacobo from Tribal Seeds had to take that break because he was like his voice.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's also been doing it since he was 16 years old. You know what I mean? I think he started the band when he was 18, 17, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Big up to Steve. Yeah. Big up to Steve. And he's someone. So when I saw them for the first time, it was at Pocahontas State Park in Virginia, and they were opening for Slightly Stupid, and Atmosphere was there, the rapper, and they were the opening band, and I was like, who are these guys? Like, I'd never heard of them.
Yep.
And they were all swinging their dreadlocks in unison, and they were all,
so good, bro.
You know what I mean? And all the dreads were swinging, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is, like, the most, like, and I liked it more than Slightly Stupid set.
I was going to say, me and my wife have the conversation more often than not when we'll see a lineup. We'll see Tribal Seeds kind of down below. We're like, How are they? I mean, in our opinion, Tribal Seed should be headlining every single festival. That's just us. But I mean, it's yes, they are on that level, man, 100%.
I feel like they're the closest. They're the closest thing to Marley. They're the closest thing
yes,
to.
they're extremely conscious American roots.
Besides
reggae.
his
They
sons,
nailed
of
it.
course.
Yeah.
But they, and when that happened, Slightly Stupid played a punk rock set that
Right.
show. So I was like, I'm not a huge punk rock guy, but
Right.
I was loving Tribal Seeds, and they became my favorite band. They really did.
Yes, amen.
And I would probably say they are my current favorite reggae band.
Hell yeah.
Even till right now. I really like Collie Buddz as well. He's another person who I feel like he really toes that line between conscious and party very well.
Yes.
He has
100%.
songs that are about partying.
Yep.
He has songs that are about, reflection. He has songs that are conscious.
Yep.
And Collie Buddz is somebody, also shout out Sound Destroyer. He's out of the same area that I'm based in right now, but he's been running sound for Collie Buddz and going on tour with Collie Buddz. So shout out Steve. His name is Steve as well. Shout out him, Sound Destroyer as well. He's really doing it big time and out in Cali and all over the country. So big up to him.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Right on, bro. So you ready to have a little bit of fun real quick? It's kind of the rapid fire. I'm going to shoot questions at you. Answer it as fast as you can. All right? What's the craziest or most unexpected thing that's ever happened on a tour or at a gig?
I would say this guy I can't remember what city it was, somewhere in North Carolina. He started like rapping while I was playing, and then he started trying to like walk up on the stage, and I didn't want to like be mean,
Of course
but
not.
I was like, man, I'm getting paid for this. Like,
Yeah.
I had to get the security on his butt, but that was one of the crazier points. Another crazy time was in Maryland when a guy was owner kept touching me. She was an old lady. She kept touching me while I was playing. She kept interrupting me, and eventually we just left. And we were like, I'm not gonna keep like, yeah. So we've had some, but I would say those are two that I probably won't forget.
What's your dream collaboration? Any artist alive or no longer with us?
Bradley Knoll for sure.
What's one
Bradley
song
Knoll.
you wish you had wrote but you didn't? Or you wish you had put out but you didn't?
One song that I wish I put out but I didn't.
Yeah, there's got to be some in your arsenal that you're
Oh, something in the vault.
Yeah.
It might be this dance hall song that I made. And I kind of put on a fake Jamaican accent for it. I don't like doing that much. I can't get away with it as much as other people can.
Yeah. What's your favorite food spot in a city that you played in?
My favorite food spot, I really like this Mike's Vegan Grill. I think they just opened one in Wilmington, but I had their food truck when I played in Durham. So shout out to Mike's Vegan Grill.
Right on. Shout out to the vegan hot dog stand, man. They're downtown Orlando. That's really, really, really good stuff, man. All right, so what's next for Righteous Roots, man? Releases, tours, surprises. Throw it at us.
So that song, Strong Foundation, it's either going to be an EP or an album. I haven't decided yet. It's going to be the third single we dropped this year, number 3. And so we're just going to keep working on dropping music. We're going to keep playing a lot of shows. Strong Foundation, the album that whole theme is kind of be like that, and there's gonna be some party songs, some conscious songs, and I don't have a release date for it yet, but it will come out this year. And other than that, we have a ton of stuff going on. Like I said, my festival, Reggae at the River, August 30th.
Beautiful.
Appomattox Boat Harbor, I'm gonna try and put on for the Virginia reggae community. And I try my best to, you know what I mean. So. And there's a lot of other festivals we got going on. We got shows every weekend here in Wilmington and beyond. So just check out our schedule on Facebook, Instagram. We got a lot of stuff coming up.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm definitely going to have you back on the podcast again. I also have a live radio show every Thursday night. It's the Hippie Fari Reggae Radio show. Well, not the Reggae Radio show. It's Hippie Fari Reggae Radio, a weekly roots cast. And they're not episodes. They're called transmissions. You know what I mean? I'm keeping that conscious revolutionary mindset all the way through the entire show. You got anything coming out? Call in. We'll play it. You can talk about it. It'd be a great time. Thank you, man. Tom, thank you so
thank
much
you.
for coming on the show, bro. It was an absolute pleasure. I had a lot of fun talking to you, man. That's why I love doing podcasts, man. You find out you have a lot more in common with people than you think, all the way from the Southern Baptist thing to conscious music to, our favorite band being Tribal Seeds. You know what I'm saying? That's a really cool thing, man.
Thank you so much.
Where can we find Righteous Roots? I want to buy some merch. I want to listen to your music.
Yeah.
Tell us where to find you.
Yeah, so Righteous Roots on all platforms, just like it sounds, Righteous Roots.
Yep.
And then, Righteous Roots music on all social medias. We got our merch that you can get customizable merch on yourmusicmerch.com.
Beautiful.
If you're in a band and you need merch, that company is ran by our lead guitar player, Brent, and he does a great job. You can get merch probably shipped right to you. And so that's where you can find all of our stuff. We got a link tree link to basically all things Righteous Roots.
Nice.
And we'd love for y'all to go check out the new singles that have dropped so far this year.
Absolutely, man. So you heard that, folks. Thank you for listening. Big ups to Righteous Roots, first of all, for not doing a gig and coming on the show anyway. And playing some unreleased music for us, man. That's really neat. So, folks, there is strength in unity. Build your community. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Shoot me an email, hippieFariReggae@gmail.com. Check out my website, hippiefari.podbean.com. This is Scotty the High-Strung Hippie, reminding you to speak your mind before somebody else does it for you. And do something nice for somebody today. Grab flowers for your partner. Smoke out a stranger. Slip the homeless man a buck. But whatever you do, do it from the heart. All good things start with the heart. Peace, love, and roster rhythms are all a part of that reggae revolution. One love, fam.